What's up guys, Chaos here, and welcome back to the wonderful Saint Spell, the magical conservatory with secrets abound. I did say I was going to eventually come back to this game at some point, just to try out other characters, and that's what I'm back for. Right now the main characters I want to go for is Siri and Evelyn. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Those are the two that I'm going to be aiming for next. For this episode, we're going to go after Siri, and then in the next episode, I'm going to go after Evelyn. I do have the guide pulled up right now that's linked on the itch.io page. It is incomplete. Looks like the majority of Siri's entry is finished, but some of Evelyn's is missing. So we might just have to go with the flow of that one. But for right now, my focus is going to be Siri. I'm going to be using the walkthrough to help me get to his route, get to his ending. Also, apparently, if you get the good ending for both Siri and Evelyn, then after you finish Evelyn's route a second time, there's a secret third ending. So in the episode that I do Evelyn, then I'm going to do that ending as well. I really feel like I'm pronouncing Eleni's name wrong. I don't know. I'm just going to go with Evelyn because it sounds right to me. But let's just hop right back into the game. We already know this. If you don't know any of this, watch my other episodes on this. I'm just going to kind of speed run this to be able to get to Siri. So it might be a bad idea, but I'm going to choose the exact same course schedule that Siri has. But also it does say that his free time locations is skipping class in the forest and the field. And his extracurriculars is fight club and work study. I have to get a 7+ favorability for him. And it seems like certain dialogue things help with that. But figure it out. I'm just going to go with the same classes that he has, so maybe hopefully help out with that? I don't know. Today is Monday. You have some free time until your next class. What do you do? So it says for first meeting, location can be anywhere / hallway. Hopefully I meet Siri in one of the classes. Who would you like to approach? You just have everyone unlocked again? I'm pretty sure this is Siri, isn't he? Yeah, it's the same introductions I had to him in my previous episode. Actually, the most recent episode. I guess I'll still read through it a little bit, just speedrun it real quick. The forbidden area, every superstitious or fantastical setting, kept buried from students hiding a grim dark secret, obscure passage to a third dimension, or maybe a horrendous beach. Troubled yet anticipated if you find yourself debating. Oh, this actually is part of the storyline things. Saying what's the worst that could happen does give +1 favorability. Requires more strength though. Am I able to do it? Don't have enough Get that, I just started. I'm not dying or getting in trouble. Who cares if I'm a wonder if the world is here? Carefully, you attempt to quickly make your way past the haunted halls en route to your original destination. But as if to answer your aimless yells echoing down the halls, the suspected ghosts or shambling creatures of the night finally wake to greet you. Ah! The hell? Against your better judgment, you're caught screaming bloody murder in the midst of the empty hallway. Your cries of terror are only disrupted by an unfamiliar disembodied voice, followed by the sudden and forceful grip of your body being pulled into another's. It takes a moment to gather your senses, but once you have, it becomes abundantly clear that you're staring face to face with an undeniably irritated visage. With ears thick and dappled in hair snow white, the burly animal bears the brunt of your weight effortlessly against his chest. His powerful grip diminishes down to one more gentle, I'm speedrunning too fast. Yet, even if you might be enraptured in those piercing cold eyes, the only sentiment you can reciprocate is perplexity. Ah, by the way, he's staring at me. I wonder if I've inconvenienced. Roughly, the man releases you, heaving a little sigh as he brushes his bangs back. Alright, so can I ask one thing? Why the hell are you screaming all of a sudden? You can't help but relent and reveal a little blush at a straightforward question, a tad bashful of your shameless actions. The lights went out and hot. It was hot. I was wondering what it was, but I freaked out. Sorry. The animal tilts his head and lifts the brow, gradually looking more understanding, at least slightly. There's a glint of enlightenment before he faintly smirks. You can feel my... Why am I speedrunning this so hard? I don't know why. I feel my flame from that far. Damn, that is impressive. You almost think he's praising you, but that smoke triumph look that occupies his face. It becomes increasingly obvious he's more proud of himself. Turns out throughout your rambling, Leopard retained only a fraction of information. Despite your earlier apprehension, the fact that he's hardly ignoring your concern almost takes you off. Seems to be someone that, likes teasing, I guess, because, it says try to tease him, which is +1. So I guess rebuking him would... I don't have enough strength. God damn it. Go along with him. Well, and you just continue to stand steadily near the doorway. The reason it's so hot is because of your flames. Is it really that weird around a magic school? What about the lights? They were flickering and then went out. I seriously thought this place was haunted. That was me too. And probably, this place might be haunted. 100 years old. Hundreds, actually. After that, he wasn't feeding your paranoia. Details. Gripping his lance at his sides, Anna traverses across the vacant room. This dangerous yet decisive movement, he confidently strides closer to you. As he nears, you can more painfully see the abnormalities of his scars that blemish his skin. Burn scars, maybe? Could be a lot of things, actually. You see her a lot. You must be new. Is that obvious? Yeah, I'm Chaos, and you are? I go by just Siri here. How's Polaris? Nice meeting you. Holds out a hand to shake. As you lean closer to grip it, you can feel how warm Siri's palm is. His skin is callous, patterns of discoloration decorating each narred digit, run up to the concerning length of his claws. Despite any earlier grievances or his rugged appearance, his disposition seems amiable, and his hand politely clasps around yours. Something about me caught your eye? Look up alarmingly in time to see a fraction of Siri's fangs peeking out behind his grin. He was well aware of your focused observations, unashamedly satisfied of that fact. No, not in particular. Oh yeah? Well then. After properly shaking your hands, Siri crosses his arms and appears lost in thought. He came all the way after his practice by magic. In a school with so many wandering souls, I guess that's impossible. This one does require average charisma. I don't think 2 is average, but I'm still gonna try. Hey, it actually worked. Ha, I didn't think you'd be the shy type. Siri's expression regards you as deadpan, failing to see the coyness behind your taunting words. I'm not shy. If anything, I would say training alone is more for your safety, unless you have a penchant for danger. Oh. Your face says it all. You don't. Exactly. Anyways, I should head back. Catch you later, Chaos. Don't get lost now. As you pass you, the animal throws out a slack wave as his thick spotted tail whips playfully against your feet upon his exit. Siri, later. Wow, it's still hot in here. Still, wouldn't it be better to just practice fire magic outside? Thankfully for you, Siri left him a mess in the empty classroom. Disperse from the area before any hypothetical ghosts do decide to show up. So it seems like for this man, I am going to need some more strength and charisma, probably. Let's see. You get biffed in the fucking face! Some people in the class gasp before as you fall into your back, face aching. Is that blood? Vaguely wonders, yes, blood trickles from your temple, released from the throbbing pain in your head as you fade into blissful unconsciousness. I got knocked the fuck out! It's noon. Who do you want to spend lunchtime with? Can I spend lunchtime with Siri, please? Of all the people you can choose to spend your lunch with, there can be only one. However, unlike some, he seems to prefer to eat his meal outdoors, which surprises you, but who are you to judge? The animal relaxes leisurely in a nearby field. Distantly, several other students also enjoy their lunches, accompanied by the warmth of the sun. Siri, do you mind if we eat lunch together? He seems more focused on relaxing and eating his meal, peeking one eye at your figure before moving aside for a grunt. If you close your eyes and pretend, it's something like a picnic. What, too new to find someone else to bother? Am I bothering you? You raise a brow at his sharp verbiage. Okay, but make no move to change your mind. No, I'm just teasing you. Flattered you decided to pick me as your lunch mate. This is the part where we start feeding each other? I'm joking. Try not to look too shocked, Chaos. Sniffling, you sit at a comfortable distance from the anima, relaying your focus to your given meal instead. It's quiet at first as you'd rather not talk while eating, but Siri breaks the silence first. Normally I spend lunch elsewhere, so this wouldn't be possible otherwise. Normally? What do? Details, just saying you couldn't have picked a better time to be my lunch pal. For extracurricular interactions for lunch, I have to do charmed as always, which adds a +1. As charming as always, Siri. I know, right? Mother taught me best. He questioned the appeal of his mother, but he looks so genuinely proud of the fact that you can't bring yourself to tell him. She sounds like a lovely lady. She is. If she were here, I bet she'd make me packed lunches all the time. I have to tell her I'm too old for that. Would it be too embarrassing if I were to make lunches for you? No, but why would you want to? You really are quite charming. Some time passes before Siri begins to eat his lunch too. I quickly learned that he's a voracious eater. It's as if he's starved all day for whatever reason, but you sincerely doubt that's the case. He's exercise. I still have an injury? I thought I got healed at the infirmary. Fuck you. Get a checkup. Go to the infirmary. Okay. Hello, I don't think I've met you before. Who are you? Well, I think I know who I'm going to go after Alini. It is now after school hours. Extracurriculars aren't in session. What do you do? So Siri should. This is Fight Club. Fight Club's in the arena. So I guess I am going to the arena. Go see Siri if I can. You're at the arena. Join the Fight Club. First rule about Fight Clubs, you don't talk about the Fight Club. Second rule about Fight Clubs, you don't talk about Fight Club. Fight Club. Fight Club. Your weak sauce, they can smell it. Like sharks to blood in the water. Hey, I'm new and... You get biffed in the fucking face! Link is wrapping a cloth around her knuckles and she notices you. Am I not gonna get to talk to Siri? He's supposed to be here. Now the evening, you have some free time before the day ends. I'm gonna go to the bathhouse. You're in the bathhouse. It's squeak clean. Feel the charisma rising. My profanities on the board. Pick up the chalk evil thoughts doing into your devious little head. I prayed for Satan! Pull back from your work satisfied. Feel like a bad student. Can I approach Siri? To enter the classroom, the professor will task you with watching over the infirmary in their absence. Whether or not you're a token student, you're forced into accepting. As you walk through the lavish hallways brimming with both familiar and unfamiliar students, nothing seems amiss. As expected, neither a work-study nor a staff member is present. Only the faintest stench of cleaning chemicals keeps you company. This spell keeps the infirmary perfectly furnished, but all the more interesting remedies seem to be locked up. All the beds are empty as well. At least that's what you assumed, when the vacant room begins to echo an almost buzzing hiss. The hairs on the back of your neck stand upright, and quickly making your way to the window, you pull it shut. There you are. Sweet silence. Oh dear. Fire shock dissipating, your voice instinctively lowers to a more mousy tone. You walk forward towards the noise, approaching the last set of surgical curtains nearest to the window. Peeking behind, there is in fact a body. Curled up betwixt the disheveled linen sheets, the familiar figure lies leisurely upon its side, his lightest snores filling the room. Recall the sleeping figure to be the anima Siri. In all his leopard-like nature, he seems perfectly at ease within the solace of this infirmary bed. Honestly, you begin to wonder if he was really here due to injury or just asleep. Wouldn't be surprising if he somehow got hurt practicing his magic or whatever. Despite not truly knowing the young man, his casual and arrogant airs coupled with careless practices might have been a recipe for disaster. His fire-afflicted affinity is quite the destructive power. However long you watch him, you catch uneven breathing, the steep rise and fall of his chest, the wrinkled look between his brows. He relaxes and tightens as if he were traversing a dream every few seconds. He seems to be deep in sleep. Honestly, would it be so wrong to wake him? You were pretty sure nobody was supposed to be in here anyways. And just look how fluffy those ears of his are. What if you just... So it says, I have to wake him. Gotta wake him. Just be awake before the professor comes back regardless. You justify yourself and tread nearer, straying dangerously closer than you feel he might typically allow you. After all, such a pleasant sight of the young man unguarded and blissfully sleeping seems to reserved for only people closest to him. Would you ever want to be one of those people? Siri seems to be elusive, not at all reticent, I cannot English very well, but always concerned with himself more than others. It would explain why you scarcely caught one another, despite how new you are. Offhandedly, you wonder his reasonings for doing so, but you take a dive into the intrepid waters yourself, wanting to understand. One petting at a time. It says +1 for ear and hair, but -2 for hand, which then says goes to rude awake. So don't touch his hand, but go for the ear and hair. So, pet his ears. His ears are so floofy, like soft fleece. Even if you tug on him, it appears they only flit and twitch in response. Siri looks relatively fast asleep, though when you peek closer, the corners of his lips are barely shifting. He still hasn't woken yet. Well, maybe one more try. The next would be his hair then. Straying from the allure of his fur, you wander your hand near his head instead. For a supposed meathead obsessed with training, he takes good care of his hair, doesn't he? Or is it really all that surprising given how full of himself he is? For some reason it annoys you that he's now smirking in his sleep. No way, he's still sleeping? What the? So, just do not do a hand. So tug his tail, I guess? You're not sure why, but the sight of his overly thick and large tail is a complete contrast to his audacious personality. Stroking your palm around the dappled fur, it is smooth and unmarred to the touch. Even your urge to yank it bears little bodily response. Aside from said tail swatting at your hand, that is. Please wake up already. How endearing that the brazen and arrogant man adorned with battle scars would have fur and hair so soft and fluffy. Or perhaps it isn't all that surprising when you're God's favor and born a cat boy. After thoroughly and carefully coaxing the animal awake, it is by some miracle that the unmoving figure finally stirs. Thick white eyelashes slowly teeter into a gradual flutter, and at first Siri's restless gaze merely glances at you, as if it were normal to have your waiting figure at his bedside. He does not even bother to shy away from your hand. In fact, he leans into it, turning on his side to gaze at you more peacefully as he passes through the final lapse of a long sleep. A part of you almost expects him to start purring. He does not, but he almost seems keen on falling to the brink again, accompanied by the warmth you siphon from your palm. But gradually the smile fades, the magic is gone, and his eyes are no longer soon shut. Siri stares at you with now a placid, unperturbed gaze, and now it's your turn to play the unsuspecting. Good morning. It's totally a coincidence that we're seeing each other again. Right. Chaos or something, yeah? What are the chances of meeting again like this? Totally strong. Actually, might even have the same class together, but who's keeping track? Oh, definitely not me. I don't really pay attention to those. What? Really? Animo slowly rises in the midst of your banter, cradling a bandaged hand, but he seems more concerned with waking himself up than anything else that might have given cause for suspicion. For instance, you petting his unconscious body. In any case, he doesn't seem to mind your presence. So are you here because you hurt, or you're just catching up on sleep? Because you could have fooled me. Both, actually. Around this time, nobody really comes in, like they don't expect someone to be training during class hours. So you're skipping. The Animo, despite being half awake, flashes a lazy, amused smile, batting his eyelids to get rid of the remnants of his sleep spell. Possibly. Tempting. Have you tried these beds? Saint's spell is pretty stacked. Blush hints at your cheeks as he quickly diverts the subject. Patting his side of the bed, you can hear his weight begin to shift aside. No thanks. I'm alright. Really? Could have fooled me with how much you like staring. Thought maybe you're really interested in these beds. It's not the beds you're staring at. Is he serious or is he just teasing you? Without a second thought, the leopard leaps from his seated position. You spot the remnants of a bandaged hand unfurling. Mouth opens to point it out, but Siri's quick to sheath it, brushing beside you in an attempt to dig into the counter. His eyelashes are surprisingly thick, and his shoulder is so broad it easily collides into yours, albeit gently, perhaps a bit too close for some. The animal drifts near enough. You see how intricately colored his eyes are. They remind you of not only blue eyes, but also deep violet as they shadow over his hovering view. And it's only for a moment that he sifts through the cabinets, but the warmth of his presence is ever present and surprisingly more prominent than any average person. For a leopard born of snow, Siri brings you only heated comfort. Let's see. Help me out a little, yeah? Chaos, got any idea where the bandages are? The bandages? Let's see. How about... The walkthrough does say the cute hi-hi kitty band-aids, so that's what we're doing. Shiba cat mascot catches your eye, and whether it's because it's your first choice or you're feeling particularly coy, you reach out for them. Would these suffice? Am I a joke to you? The animal appears so distraught and wide-eyed, it's evident your decision has led him to shock. You do not feel any hostility within its tone. Instead, you feel gratified by the inklings of a humored smile tugging at his lips. Exasperatedly, he accepts your gift. These'll do. Thanks so much, Chaos. You're very welcome. Did you get hurt somewhere? Nothing too bad, but I appreciate the concern. As quickly as the animal brushed to your side, he peels away. Much akin to his ministry background, you feel the cold subsequently rush in. Perhaps that was power instead. You find yourself wandering as disappointment settles in. Siri tucks his newly bandaged hand in his pocket, prevents you from seeing more. He smiles at you regardless, waving the other freely as he gravitates towards the door. I'll have to catch you later, Chaos. Someone might get angry if I linger for too long. Someone? The professor? He's too busy stifling a yawn to give you any meaningful response, and the sound of a clock going off lets you know that your task is finally up. That's actually scrolled backwards. Didn't know I could do that. You heave a sigh, developing a strange sense of longing. You'll move on with the rest of your day regardless. That was a long meeting. Jesus Christ. I can tell Siri's probably one of the characters that the creator, put a lot more effort into, because Evelyn's things were not this long. Who do you want to spend lunchtime with? Probably obviously Siri again. And it's saying for third meeting, automatically you get a +2. I have to go to the kitchens for that. Let's just go have lunch with Siri. You watch helplessly as Siri devours his meal, the very embodiment of an elegance. Nothing happened, kind of figured. It does say for his third meeting, go to the kitchens. I guess I'm just going to try to go to the kitchens, see if I run across him. A strange sight befalls you this time, and since attending Saint's spell, you surely have witnessed all manner of forms of phenomena and witchcraft, but this is by far one of the strangest. You may not have known the anima for too long, but you've certainly never expected him to wear an apron or look such inquisitive focus on an open book. Not that you know, but I never thought I'd see you read so diligently. Leopard scarcely noticed your snide comment, merely spinning on his heel at an angle in which you get a full view of his exposed back and sides. Never would you understand the novelty of his revealing attire, the likes of which you wouldn't expect from a snow-prone person. Hello, Eartha Siri, are you even listening? Raising your voice works somewhat, and the anima shifts ever so slightly, lips slightly parted as if he were mouthing the printed words to himself. It's an interesting and, dare you say, intelligible look. Siri always struck you as a simply meathead. Did you say something? Ahem. I said I never thought I'd see you read so diligently. Your comment catches him unaware for a moment, until the leopard smirks, placing the book down and gesturing towards his eyes in place with that familiar conceited aura. Strong. Honestly, I didn't even realize you entered the room. My hyperfixation is relative to my diligence. You gasp offendedly. You're right, though. Are you still impressed if I mention it's only a cookbook? I won't have to mention anything. I can see your apron just fine. Oh? What do you think? I already know the answer, but I figure I should listen to your opinion. +1 for I've seen better. So I guess I just gotta tease him a lot, it seems like. Don't know. I've seen better. Whether or not your answer is meant to be coy, or you meant the fact, you feel the immediate weight of his stare as he bears it towards you. A curl of a smile hints at your lips. You hold back any film of laughter that threatens to bubble. Then, in the next moment, the weight doubles and you feel your grin shrink back. Craning your neck, you find the animal leering dangerously across the counter, his lips full, wide and smiling, displaying his trademark rows of sharp teeth. Sorry, I couldn't hear you well, so I moved closer. For a sec, I thought you were saying you've seen better. Even if he practically has you leaning near the edge of your seat, by some miracle you retain the gall to sneer back at him. No, you heard right. There's a lot of attractive people at this school, so don't feel too bad. The leopard's tail flits in the air like a hooded snake that glowers, but strangely enough, you don't feel any real animosity emanating from him. A fire, no doubt, but Siri has been a snow leopard embodying fire, and you're beginning to grow used to his impulsive tactics. His grin smothers, and he retains the smallest wry smile. Slinking back to his position behind the counter, he measures out ingredients. I just think you have bad taste. Hey now! He watched Siri begin to tamper with his ingredients, the likes of which seem to involve various herbs, flour, and fish. It appears he's making a relatively simple dish. Does he really need to read a cookbook to do that? It's then that the thought crosses you. Perhaps he's just bad at cooking. In an attempt to dull your impending boredom, even though you're sure he will find a way to entertain you indiscriminately, you rap your knuckles against the counter. So, Siri, I've been meaning to ask you. This one doesn't have anything on it, so I guess I just hope for the best. I'm gonna ask about his clothes. They're one of the 7 wonders of the world, or at any rate, an illogical choice you find yourself perhaps adoring or merely questioning. What is the reason behind the snow leopard's trademark clothing? His peculiar taste in fashion, apron not included. When are you going to tell me why your clothes are cut up like that? It's mind-rattling that he has to pause, because really, hasn't anyone questioned the futility of his garments? He removed his gloves for cooking, and you recall the sight of his right hand being covered in bandages from the last time he spoke. Sparing the scarred musculature trunk of his forearm and biceps, even Siri can appear domestic beneath the frills of his flowered apron. Who's asking? Me? Should anyone else be? Ignore that voice crack. Surprisingly enough, his eyes shift for a moment as if he is recalling something distant, something that might upset him. The notion disappears quickly as his gaze doubles back. My father is kinda nomadic. I think it was just a trademark he carried over from the south. And then he passed it down to you? Is it cold where you're from? It can get really cold, but it's not always just snow where I was born. I mean, the cold doesn't really bother us anyways. The amount of clothing we wear doesn't matter. I see. It must be nice being a cat boy. Animal's nose wrinkles at the notion of being called a boy, and you almost wish you can take it back at the same moment. The technicalities of being from different worlds. How old is Siri anyways? Definitely looks older than some of the other students. It's for the grunt and a snort that he receives you, going back to his work with more hastened quirk to his movements. Boy, it's definitely easier to move around in. Whenever I wear something a tailor makes, it just makes my skin crawl or feels too stuffy. You must hate formal events then. Speaking of which, you idly wonder his opinion on those. What manner of dress would he wear, the way he dances, who he'd bring. I've been to plenty. Don't know about you, but looking for contract partners is kind of annoying. He turns suddenly, likely not wanting to divulge any more into that subject. Time passes a little too quickly as you waste the minutes away watching Siri. Idly prattling on about nothing substantial, you realize speaking to the elders easier than it was initially. In fact, egotistical pig-headed as he occasionally is, he is completely capable of being impressively tolerable and even comforting, disregarding the frequent quip or gritted remark. He reminds you of a close friend or family perhaps, in a sense his presence almost provides support. You feel safer near him. Perhaps it was due to his own confidence rubbing off on you. Regardless, despite catching glances at his exposed back and presumably the tattoo in the lumbar, your curiosities evaporate the myriad of scents that now fill the air. Siri has already decorated his plate. Simple but reminiscent of something rustic you might catch aired on television. The crackling sound of searing hot oil and fish as it begins to cook causes your eyes to sparkle and your mouth to almost salivate. What's your favorite food, Siri? Huh? Oh, braised beef or any rare prime cut. But I eat most things, not very picky. Melodic hum rises from your throat, and you tap your chin in response. Carnivorous of you, but cute that you don't mind your veggies. The response prompts a smile from the leopard, and you even see his tail sway behind in unison. I was a good boy growing up, contrary to popular belief. Well, sometimes. That sounds about right. Siri easily peels the fish, meat, bones, and skin, and drapes it onto his plate. He drops the last finishing touches onto the dish. And full view of you, it already looks immaculate, albeit not as intricate as you initially assumed. The finished dish is mainly fish with sauce and sprigs of dill and lemon on top. What's your favorite food, Chaos? Oh, me, this one is not in the walkthrough, so it's just about what I feel. The meat can never go wrong, something sweet, you're a bit of a dessert connoisseur. Like something with a bit of spice, bread, pasta, it's so good, so bad it's good. Nothing in particular you can't choose. Out of all of this, I do like all of this. I'm not sure if I should pick something specific, because all of this does sound good. I might also just be hungry. I have been at this for 47 minutes. It's only Tuesday. Why are the dialogues for this man so goddamn long? I guess I'm gonna say nothing in particular. I don't know. There's so much good food to choose from. You better make up your mind. I wouldn't know what to make for you. Oh, okay. In that case, while you're distracted, the sound of a plate sliding over catches your attention, and you jump slightly at the sight of Siri's now fully completed dish and silverware being placed before you. It's for certain that the heat you feel resonates not only from the fish, but also from the confines of your own rattled chest. You try too hard not to smile when lifting your gaze to make eye contact, but Siri is as nonchalant and haughty as if everything he performed is effortless. What's this? For you. Eat up. You wondered who I was making it for, right? I mean, you never said it, but idly, in the back of your head, you feel both guilty and bashful for being read so easily. Sheepishly, your eyes flit to the perfectly cooked fish that sits before you, its glistening seared skin, the sheen of that lemon drizzle. You didn't have to have a mind-reading power to gather your thoughts, and Anima removes his apron before drifting over to your side snidely. What's the matter? Did me cooking for you sound too nice? You've seen that grin so many times, but this is the first it's actually caught you tripping. No, it's just, I didn't expect you were cooking for me. I guess I should have just said thank you. You bow your head down and recover your bearings, palm pressed to kneecaps. He leaves you simmering in your thoughts for quite some time before his laughter fills the air, and once again you're reminded of how annoyingly egotistical you can sound. If you want, pretend I wasn't cooking for you. Pretend you just so happened to run into an opportunity to taste test my practice dish. Whatever helps you sleep at night. With a bit more force than you're used to, he affectionately pats your back, and the pressure causes you to go rigid in response. Thankfully, the leopard seems to be retreating in the opposite direction of your horridly flushed face. By the way, I might have cooked, but you'll be in charge of cleaning. See you later, Chaos. At the sound of his exit, you feel some dignity crush back into you, and you gaze from the shuddering door to the plethora of dishes and ingredients he left scattered in his wake. Irritation and something a bit more familiar seeps into your senses, and smiling, you clench your knife in a fist. Damn you, Siri. God damn, why is this dialogue so long? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday and I've been at this for 50 minutes. God. I think that was the 3rd out of 5 meetings that apparently you can have. So I guess probably like Thursday and Friday I'm going to speedrun or something.